That morning, when I turned the handle of the family shop and the key refused to turn, I knew something had ended. That store wasn't just a business. It was my childhood, my father's dream, my life's work. And the man who'd locked me out was my own brother. For more than 12 years, I worked hand in hand with my brother, Marcus, to keep our late father's furniture business alive. Our dad started Grant and Daughters Furniture in the late 80s, back when he barely had enough to buy nails. He used to say, "Wood remembers kindness, Elena. Be gentle with it." When he died suddenly of a heart attack, the will was simple, 50-50 ownership between Marcus and me. He believed we'd take care of each other. He didn't know Marcus had been waiting for that will to become his weapon. At first, things went well. Marcus was the face of the business, charming, loud, confident. I was the quiet one, the designer, the one who stayed up late perfecting every curve of every chair. But over time, Marcus began to change. He wanted faster profits, cheaper materials, flashy ads, things Dad would have hated. And whenever I disagreed, he'd smirk and say, "Dad's gone, Elena. This isn't a charity. It's a business now." Then came the first betrayal. I discovered he'd opened a second bank account under the company's name, without my knowledge. When I confronted him, he brushed me off. "It's for convenience. You don't understand the financial side." That night, I couldn't sleep. Something inside me cracked. Still, I stayed, because it was Dad's company. Because I couldn't bear to let it die. Months later, I noticed he'd started excluding me from meetings. Clients I used to handle suddenly stopped calling. When I asked one of them why, she said, "Marcus told us you stepped down." I remember going pale. "Step down? From my own company?" When I asked Marcus, he looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Elena, you're holding us back. I've already started paperwork for restructuring. It's best for both of us." "Best for both of us?" I asked, my voice shaking. "You're firing me from my father's business?" He smiled, that cold, confident smile. "Not firing. Just moving forward. You'll thank me later." The next morning, I went to the shop and found the locks changed. The sign that used to say Grant and Daughters now read Grant Furniture Company. He'd erased me. I stood there in the rain, reading the new sign over and over, until my knees gave out. I sat on the curb, soaked, holding my useless keys, crying like a child. "That's how one of our old workers found me, Mr. Lewis," he said softly. "Your dad wouldn't have wanted it this way." And I whispered, "Neither would I." Weeks passed. Marcus ignored every message. Mom called once, only to say, "Elena, maybe it's time to move on. Your brother's doing what he thinks is right." Move on? From the only thing Dad left me? No. I gathered every record I had, invoices, designs, contracts, old emails. I didn't even know if it would matter. But I couldn't just disappear quietly. The lawsuit took almost a year. Marcus fought dirty, claimed I'd abandoned the company, accused me of unstable behavior. He even told the court I had no business sense and that I was an emotional liability. I sat there listening to him tear me apart, my own brother, and all I could think was, "This is who you've always been." But the truth was on paper. My name was on every design, every major client deal, every supplier invoice. I had poured my soul into that company. And when my lawyer finished laying it all out, the courtroom was silent. Marcus didn't look so confident anymore. His face fell when the judge read the verdict. I was legally entitled to 40% of the business profits, assets, and intellectual property. I didn't cry. I didn't smile. I just felt hollow. Winning doesn't always heal you. Sometimes it just confirms how deep the betrayal went. A few weeks later, I got a letter from Marcus. No apology. Just one line. "Congratulations. I hope you're happy now. I tore it in half. Because no, I wasn't happy. I'd lost my brother long before I won that case. But life, in its quiet way, has a strange sense of justice. 6 months later, I heard Marcus' new business had gone into debt. He'd expanded too quickly, cut corners, and lost loyal clients, including some of mine. And one day, one of his old suppliers walked into my new workshop. A small studio I'd rented with my settlement money. He smiled and said, "I always liked your designs better. You had heart." I looked around my little space, sunlight pouring through the windows, the scent of wood and varnish in the air, and whispered, "Maybe Dad's dream didn't die after all." I named the studio True Grain Designs because wood, like truth, always shows its flaws and its strength. I worked alone, quietly, peacefully. No greed, no competition, just purpose. Sometimes I still think of Marcus. I wonder if he ever misses me, not as a business partner, but as a sister. But then I remember the coldness in his eyes that day. And I remind myself, some people only love you when they can control you. Moral of the story: family betrayal cuts the deepest, because you never see it coming from those you die for. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silence, success, and peace. Justice doesn't always fix the heart, but it restores your dignity. Never let anyone erase your name from what you built. When the people closest to you shut you out, don't break, rebuild. Quietly, beautifully. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our stories. Thanks for watching.